What's going on? It's Doug here. We're going to talk about affiliate marketing and I'll tell some stories. I do have a couple stories to tell today. It snowed here, so here in the northern Colorado Front Range area, we got a little snow, so I could talk about that. Let me know in the chat if you can hear me. It's always good to confirm that. I think you can hear me. I heard myself just now. And if you have questions out there, we'll hit those as well. I would love it if you're watching the live version or the replay later to hit the thumbs up and like the video. Usually we got the normal suspects, the usual suspects that show up for the live streams, and that counts for the actual live audience here. Or if you catch it later, that's fantastic too. The majority of the people do watch it later, which is great. I think you'd watch it at a faster rate, get through this thing a little bit more quickly. But today, we're just hanging out. I don't have a topic. I've been honestly a little bit lazy the last couple weeks. Not selecting a topic, not preparing, just coming here, shooting the shit. So Chris is on. You can hear me very well. That's fantastic. And a nomad overseas says, belated Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you too. And Zach's here. I knew it was the usual suspects. So thanks folks for hopping on. Laughing Hyena as well. And it's been a day of talking. So I'm gonna try to just put my mouth closer, and I'm not gonna yell. I'm gonna try to talk more quietly, more NPR style. And just whisper. And Chris says, oh, belated happy birthday. Well, it's extremely late. My birthday is in May. A nomad overseas was just saying, happy New Year. Just happy New Year. So appreciate it though. You never get that in too early. It's an early birthday wish, not a late one. Okay, so yeah, like I said, I could tell some stories, but the thing is today I recorded 3 episodes of Mile High Fi, which is my other podcast where Carl Jensen and I talk about financial independence. We interviewed a couple people on what I would say a riveting topic of health insurance. It is not riveting. It's a dry topic, I'll be honest with you, but we talked about it for a long time. And then Carl and I recorded a couple shorter episodes. So a lot of times with these live sessions, before the questions come in, I will just talk ad nauseum. Otherwise, I'm just standing here, and that's very boring. So the thing is, Carl and I have started publishing 2 episodes per week. So the idea is the Friday episode is a little bit shorter over on Mile High Fi. And the thing is, last week, it was a little bit icy in the area around here, and Carl slid, and there was some slight damage to his car. Luckily, he just hit a curb, so it was no big deal, but it did throw off the day, which means we didn't record the 2 to 3 episodes that we were planning on recording last week. So we were a little behind, and I, as a planner, I'm sort of producing and executive producing the show. Carl he helps with some notes, and of course he's the other half of the show, but I'm basically orchestrating everything else. So all that to say, we had to record an episode today to publish on Friday, which usually we are a couple weeks out at least, if not more. We have the schedule pretty far out. But Carl, for some reason, as a retired person, he's extremely, extremely busy. He's doing stuff all the time. So busy. It's insane. So anyway, we recorded a lot today. And then I recorded an interview with Wesley just before this, which that'll be coming out in a few weeks. It's awesome. I'll just tease you and say that he did a KGR case study, and it's been earning for years. It's pretty fantastic, so I won't spoil the whole thing here, so you'll listen and watch it later. But Wesley, we had a great interview. Okay. And Jason is on as well. Else says, do I like I think faux beer. I think that's what you're asking. It says the answer is generally no. I like actual beer. I have tried just one non-alcoholic beer from Lagunitas. I heard it was really good. It was like their fake hop beer, and it tasted like hoppy water. I mean, there was some slight beer-like flavor, but it was largely. I mean, you could tell there's no alcohol in there at all. Oh, but maybe you said it's your favorite beer. Elle says it's your favorite beer. What is a fax beer? Faxy beer? I don't know what that is. I'll have to Google it in a second, or you could explain it here. And yeah, and Thane says, eat, sleep, like Doug's videos, repeat. Yeah, but much appreciated if we do get the likes in there. But I mean, they say it helps the algorithm, but what can you do? Dan, what's up? Gaz is on. And Jason says the inflation episode was great on Mile High Fi. Paula is really on it. Going to check out her pod. Yeah. So, and I could tell some backstory on that. So if people are interested in inflation, we released an episode. It's obviously top of mind for people that are thinking about finances in general. But Paula Pant, she founded the Afford Anything blog, and she has a podcast. And the thing is, it's huge. Paula, I'm not sure how many times she's hosted it, but I went to FinCon this past year, and she was like one of the MCs. Like she was on stage. So it's a very big deal that she was on our show. It's like having Mr. Money Mustache on the show, or other similar people, which, I mean, I was going to say, Carl and I have been able to pull some very big guests, and most of that is due to Carl. However, when we went to a conference called Economy in Cincinnati, I was able to chat with Paula for a little while. So we made friends, and then I was like, hey, we want to invite you on, but we're pretty new at this, so we want to make sure we don't like blow it or anything. And I was like, hey, what about inflation? Do you want to talk about that? And I actually looked back in her archive to make sure that she had not done an inflation episode recently, and I didn't see one in the last year. So I was like, this will be perfect. And yeah, Paula is super smart, an excellent communicator. She has one of the top business sort of finance type podcast out there. Like if you look in the top rankings on Apple, like her show is there. So pretty big deal. Okay, let's look at what other questions we have here. Gaz is drinking Earl Grey. Zach is drinking Americano, which is espresso with inflation. Nice. Inflation jokes. And I'm just drinking water here. All right. And Nomad Overseas is talking about Thai whiskey. It's called Sangsum. It's amazing, but not popular in the West. Why do you think it's not popular? I haven't even heard of it. I may have to check it out. David, what's up? And thanks to David and any of the other kind moderators that may be in here. Appreciate the help. And we have else saying, what can I say about AI content writers? So it's a very popular topic. You know what? I should just do a whole video on it. But unfortunately, there wouldn't be much content. So I've tested the AI writers very briefly, probably almost a year ago. I wasn't impressed. I didn't think they were very good. And I thought, I'm not even going to waste my time on it. There's some great, popularity around the idea that it's going to be able to save you time, but I think they're kind of shitty right now, and it'll be interesting to see how it plays out soon. One point that I made a few weeks ago is if the tools were so good, then the companies that develop the tools would create content websites like we're trying to do and run ads on it. They would have very low overhead. They would just be, running the machines and maybe have some staff to work on it. But if it's really good, then if the AI content was really good, then the companies wouldn't need to touch it. And they would put up websites and it would be valuable, and they wouldn't sell us the services because they could earn more money by running ads on content websites than by selling the SaaS product. So think about that for a second. And then you'll probably realize that, well, if the AI content was really good, then they would use it and earn money. But if they can't do it, how are we supposed to do that? What I have heard people say is they've been able to get that content, get a good start, and then edit it and then publish it. And maybe it saves them a little bit of time. That could be a route, but I don't know. I don't really care about AI content or the tools at this point in time. And I haven't taken the time to check them again. But the usual suspects here know that I'm a bit lazy and I don't want to learn a new tool and all that stuff. It could, one can say it's part of my job as a YouTuber and someone who does a podcast, but yeah, I mean, I define my job as I see fit, and I don't know. Okay, Guys says you have an interesting question. If it gets slow, something you heard this week about different affiliate link approach. Okay, yeah, shoot me. What do you got? Okay, and Dan says you would love to see more transparency on link building, but exactly what anchors you're using and pointing to which pages. For example, when you're embarking on a link building campaign, how are you typically splitting up your links, the anchors, etc.? What is your approach? Yeah, great question, Dan. And I think so. I'll tell you my sort of general idea. I like to have some exact match anchor text, but usually a pretty small amount. I would say, 10 to 20%, something like that. And then the rest is some sort of partial match keyword. So maybe some of the words are in there, but not all of them. And then, some generic click here, this website, this article, whatever, can make up a good majority. Or the brand, that's very good. Having a lot of your backlinks, maybe 50% of your backlinks, have your brand in there. So niche site project says blah, blah, blah. That's a pretty nice way to do it. I feel like it was Matt Diggity at Diggity Marketing. I feel like he has done some blog post, and this could be a few years ago. I mean, this was a topic that we talked about a lot previously, but at this point in the timeline of websites and people that watch this are generally non-link builders. A lot of people just don't like to build links, and they're scared about building links. But the class that I came up in, we built a lot of links and we thought about it very hard. And it's been a long time since then. People are just like, I don't build links. I don't want to do it. But coming back to it, if you have, and it's in the back of my brain, so I'm trying to remember. I'm going to get this directionally correct, but the exact numbers are an assumption anyway, but I'm not going to remember the exact way to do this. But generally, it's great to have maybe like 50 to 60% of your links pointing to your homepage with mostly branded anchor text. So the name of your website. That's great. It adds brandability. It shows Google that your brand is something and people are searching for it specifically. So for niche site project, for example, it could be niche site project, or it could be Doug Cunnington as well. There's a lot of anchor text that just says Doug Cunnington. So a lot of links going to your homepage. For your other links where you're trying to rank something, which, you may have a situation, and this happened to my website sometime in the past, something ranked number 1 that was sort of a popular topic. And a lot of people wrote articles about that topic. And since I ranked number 1, I ended up getting a lot of backlinks because people would reference my article. They would go do some research, reference my article. So I ended up with a large number, probably like 40% of the links pointing to Niche Site Project. And then a large number of those backlinks had exact match anchor text because it was kind of a definition. So I ended up with a huge number of backlinks pointing to one page with exact match anchor text. And it looked, potentially spammy, but it was essentially like a mini viral article on a topic that was growing. So I ended up getting a lot of backlinks to it. So it's not the worst thing in the world, but it was something where it potentially could look a little unnatural. And that happened a couple times where I just got a lot of backlinks to a page because it was ranking well. And that said, you can, go more generic for a lot of your backlinks, and that's a good move. So I don't know if that helped exactly, but it kind of gives you some broad strokes, I think. All right, now we have a lot of questions, so this is great. Laughing Hyena says, how can you evaluate if a niche is saturated or not, or has high competition before diving in? It's pretty tough generally. I think if you identify that there are... Yeah, so I don't have like a specific answer. It's somewhat subjective. So there's 2 areas. So if there's a specific niche where you Google a lot of the terms and it's like the top 20 results are all affiliate or content type websites, they look well established and professional, and there's a whole lot of them, like 2 whole pages, 20 results that are just dominated by what look to be well-established sites, similar to ones that you would create. That's kind of a bad sign. If you dive a little deeper and you look for long tail keywords and you still see those same sites that are high authority, well-established, high quality, that's probably saturated. If you start finding results that are long tail, and those results are smaller websites with lower authority, and maybe they don't look as good, the content doesn't quite make sense, and it's just lower quality in general, that shows you that even though it's well populated, that if you came in with higher quality material, you would probably do better. So the other thing, the other side of the coin is even niches that are pretty saturated or seem or feel saturated, there's always room for more people. And even if it looks saturated, you may still be able to find the long tail keywords to get a good foundation and a start, and then be able to, approach the higher competition keywords. And we're doing really good with the like, so thanks everyone for doing that. And I think, just mentioning it early helps a lot. Jason's asked about Brian Dean's Backlinko being acquired by SEMrush. Thoughts? No, I think it's great. I talked about this last week. I didn't realize it until someone asked. And yeah, it sounds like, I think SEMrush is a publicly traded company now. And they had, some money burning a hole in their pocket, and they were able to have a lot of traffic and get some name recognition, and it's great for Brian. I think I saw his LinkedIn post, and he said something about he's going to continue working there on a part-time basis for a little while, but for him, I'm sure he cashed out in a very nice way. I think that's great. And just goes to show, once, industries mature some, that sort of thing can happen. I mentioned this last time when someone asked about it, the personal finance space is similar, where now I know some people that had blogs that got pretty big, And then a big company like Motley Fool, or I don't know, a big finance company, they may go in and offer, you know, millions of dollars, and we're just regular people. So we're like, yeah, let's do that. Sure. You could take all the content that I wrote, you do whatever you want with it. All right. Oh, and a nomad overseas. So we're jumping topics back to the alcohol. So this is like a Thai whiskey, from what I understand. They add some spices. It gives an unusual aftertaste, but it's really good. A bit sweet and far too easy to drink. Yeah, I've been there before. That's happened to me. Gaz mentions that you stopped your Jarvis AI subscription for the money. You can outsource 4 articles per month. The content it produces still needs editing. Yep. So I guess the full consensus, after I make fun of and talk down to the AI tools, is if you use it as a first draft, it can be usable, but it's not like you'll be able to use an AI tool and then publish it straight away on a small scale. I have heard that some websites are basically publishing, hundreds of thousands of articles or something, some huge number of articles, and it's basically garbage content, but it's such a high amount of content that Google is ranking it. Okay, I gotta move faster. The chat is blowing up over here. So yeah, hit thumbs up if you have the opportunity to. John says, hope you're well. My site got 5,000 hits in a month last month, and it's pretty average quality. But one particular niche doing very well, as you got a backlink from a high DA site, natural backlink. Congrats. It's quality articles, original topical relevance, and links come. Yep. Nice. Okay, and a nomad overseas said, I tried AI content with zero competition keywords and it's flopped so far. Have used AI with keywords from Keyword Chef and Low Fruit results, and quite a few are in the top 10. Okay, okay, very good. And a nomad overseas also says you definitely need to proofread the output. It has the habit of repeating earlier content if you don't guide the AI. Okay. I think, yeah. And when I think about like the grand scheme of things, actually, let's play this out. Let's play this out more. So let's say you find some keywords and you are ranking in the top 10. However, it's AI content and it's kind of shitty. So what might happen in the future? Your competitors might go check out the things you're ranking for and then write it just a little bit better. Maybe they just take your article and just write it a little bit better. So, I mean, you're still at a spot where you've been able to rank, but it's so simple to reverse engineer the keywords that your competitors either will come out of nowhere or they're already established and they could just take over. So I mean, I don't see how, if everyone has access to like the AI tools, that it would work out to be able to rank and earn money. Like if it's just a cat and mouse game, like at best you're there for a little while and you're earning some money, but it's not a sustainable situation. Okay, and John mentions low fruits is awesome. I guess that's a keyword research tool. All right, guys says the idea is to place all of your affiliate product information produced by AAWP or Amalinks Pro on a non-index page, and then you link to the non-index page from your indexed article. And that way, Google just sees your site as purely informational content with no affiliate link hassles. So the problem with that is you have to like link over to the page with all of the articles, and I don't know the stats, but basically if you add an extra click, you like lose most of the people on your site and it doesn't convert over. But, I think, guys, it's as soon as you ask this question, like the thought that comes to mind is the very first niche site project that Spencer Hawes did for Niche Pursuits. He created a giant table. I think it's still, like, this article is still published out there, so you can go like reference this. Other people will remember here too. But basically, he wrote a nice long article on survival knives, and then he put a huge table with a bunch of items and a few affiliate links per item, and his rankings dropped because he had too many affiliate links. This was back in 2013. So he had too many affiliate links, and he ended up moving the table to another page, no indexing it, I'm pretty sure, and then just had maybe like a smaller table on the page that he was trying to rank. So it's amusing because it's literally the same idea. So someone's like, why don't we do this? And it's an 8-year-old idea. And Spencer, probably, it was probably done before Spencer. I think he came to that conclusion on his own because of the consequence of him putting too many affiliate links, but it's literally the same idea that someone had from many years ago. So your answer, from what you're saying, guys, but the thing is, if you have, I would say, like 50 to 75% informational content, you're probably in good shape, and you probably don't have to worry about it too much. But yes, in theory, what you're describing, Google would potentially see your site as purely informational. And let me see here. I'm trying to find some questions in chat here. All right, and Peak says, hey guys, Google doesn't have an issue with affiliate links. It has a problem with thin content and blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Okay, moving on. We have Laughing Hyena says, do you think it's a good sign if I find 10 KGR compliant long tail keywords in a niche? Yes, good sign. All right. One quick note before I forget. Thanks to Ezoic and to Odys. They sponsor these live streams, so much appreciated. There's some links in the description, so please check out their stuff. With Ezoic, they have a Leap tool, which helps your site load faster, help you get green and core web vitals. And a relevant story, I recently put Ezoic on one of my sites last week. So it took like a day or two to get things running, and that turned out well. It was quickly approved. Ads were running. The one thing, it takes a day or so for the DNS to catch up and propagate throughout the world on those DNS servers. So otherwise, it's been pretty flawless, and was able to, get revenue coming in pretty quickly. So it'll be a little while. I think it's like 6 to 12 weeks for optimization and all that stuff. So the earnings have been up and down, but I'm pretty happy with it so far. So thanks to Ezoic. And by the way, you don't have to have any, specific page view numbers or anything. Like, you could join Ezoic as soon as you start your website. They have some free training that you can check out so you know how to use the tools and all that kind of stuff. And then I'll talk about Odys a little bit more coming soon. All right. And I think the other questions were just back and forth. And then we have Claire Rika says, is this, okay, so welcome. This is your first live stream. Thanks. And then, is this the usual time? So technically, sort of. I've been shifting it around a little bit. So there's a chance that I may move it earlier in the day sometimes, but this time period seems pretty good. What, for the people that are on here right now, is this, I suspect it's a pretty good time. I know for the folks in the UK or, other time zones in that region, the GMT area, this is the evening time, but it seems to be fine overall. And a lot of people catch the replay later. So yeah, usually roughly around this time. There was a time when I had it on Wednesdays, kind of in the middle of the day, but I've moved it around. And I'm trying to see. So what Gaz and Zach are asking about Carl testing a certain thing. So, okay, and Gaz says, and I'm just trying to catch up. So it sounds like Carl is testing something on his channel, and maybe it's the affiliate links. And yeah, and Zach mentions, like, I don't think it'll make a difference. This is what Zach is saying. I don't think it'll make a difference. You're not sure what people to get the idea that affiliate links are hurting rankings. They're fine if they help the reader, for sure. Yeah, so I think um, I believe that it's probably not going to make a difference. If potentially you're creating a huge table with a whole lot of affiliate links, that could make a difference. But in general, I think we can be a little reactionary when Google comes out with some information. So, for example, Google's recent updates have been mainly around affiliate review websites. Have we seen a huge shakeup in sites that clearly don't have the products? Anyone, like, have you seen this? I mean, I know there's a few here and there, but for people that have sites with mostly affiliate content, I mean, I haven't heard of too many major issues. There's some shuffling around for sure, but the sites that replace the ones that were displaced, do they have a lot of affiliate content? So I guess it just doesn't add up. It's an interesting test. It's great for YouTube. People are curious, but I don't think, I mean, that's the beauty of YouTube or having a blog. You can do, you can run these tests and try, and it actually doesn't matter what the result is. Like it's helpful for people. And I know Matt Overseas says, I think you're right on that, Doug. It's gradually becoming a race to the bottom with AI. Yeah, like people will eventually not read those articles, right? Like when you land on a site and it reads like gibberish, we're yeah, we're not going to go for it, and Google will probably recognize that. And Clarica says, would I still recommend blog commenting for no follow backlinks? Not really. I mean, you can, if your goal is to get no follow backlinks, then you can do blog commenting. Blog commenting can be helpful if you are using it as a networking tool. If you're using it to connect with a blogger, then it can be useful. But if not, then probably not. Probably not very useful. And Gaz mentions that tonight's stream didn't clash with Alex's. Yeah, I saw he scheduled it, and then I was like trying to just jump in right, a little bit after his. So, all right, let's take a quick look at Odys, which I don't know if I set my screen up properly for sharing, so we'll find out. We'll find out quick. All right, it looks like it's working. All right, so Odys is a place to get premium aged domains. So they say kickstart your business with a premium aged domain from Odys. Invest in sites that grow in value with built-in SEO. And one cool thing, you could actually meet with their CEO. Well, I put myself right in the middle of the screen here. I was doing an interview earlier, so let's scooch this up here. And one side note here. So Odys is great. It's great working with them, and they've been growing a lot. And one funny kind of thing, so I'm going to have to send them an email. You see that ODYS right there? It's in all caps. So I went to their website and I started working with them. I saw it was in all caps, and I thought, okay, that's how they do their branding. They write it in all caps. So for all my marketing and stuff that I've done with them, I wrote it all in caps and actually see it appear on the little title of the page here in the marketplace. So Odys is becoming a more mature brand, and they have specific guidelines for their brand usage, and they now spell it Odys, but only the O is capitalized. But you can see they actually have it capitalized here. So I'll have to email Alex and let him know that they need to fix that up. And see here, you can see at the top here, this little banner, you can get a strategy session with the CEO and co-founder, Alex. And I should interview him soon. Get him on the show here. So anyway, we'll take a quick look. And the cool thing, right? So you can use these age domains and point them to your existing site. You just have to find, hopefully something in the right niche. That's the most important part. Or you can start a site in like a brand new site in the topic area. So it's really great to find something relevant. So let's I think I have some light filters on right here. So English and some other stuff, but let's just take a quick look and you can get an idea of how awesome some of the sites are. So I think we just lost the hiking. I was actually trying to hone in on those. All right, I'm making it worse. So the filtering works pretty awesome. So you can actually find things that are within your niche that maybe would work. So one great way to approach it. So I'm going to turn the filters back on. So we got English, outdoors and recreation, anywhere from 1 to 27 years old. And let's just scroll down and see what we see here. So shipbuilders.org or Adventure Himalaya. So the shipbuilders.org, this one must be awesome. It cost $19,000. Let's look at this one really quick and see what it was all about. So, and they also partner up with Odys. So you can actually like get a whole package together. So this specific one is, what is this site all about? Hold on. And they have some screenshots from the Wayback Machine so you can see what was going on the site. And, pretty old school in that picture. Okay, let's scroll down. Let's get into the interesting stuff. It is 26 years old. That is about as old as you can get. So it was founded in 1996. And let's look at the SEO metrics. So it's a 47 DR. The Moz is PA of 33 and a DA of 36, or maybe vice versa, has 265 referring domains still indexed in Google. And it's just amazing to see such a old domain. And the thing is, it would be pretty much impossible to recreate that. Pretty amazing. So check out Odys. If you join using my affiliate link, you can get $100 into your account, which I definitely appreciate. And I get a small commission if you buy anything. So thanks a lot to Odys. And they do sponsor these live streams. So one thing I want to point y'all towards is a link in the description. So there were a few questions about link building and some other ideas here. I have been putting a link to how to hire and manage writers, including templates for everything. And there's a link in the description there. So there's a blog post where you can basically learn how to hire writers from Upwork, which is, generally where I would like to hire people most of the time. Agencies are great if you have the funds to pay for them, but it's quite expensive. So if you want to hire your own team, check out the post down there. You just join the email list and I send you all those templates. There's actually a link to the templates and then you can download them and use them however you want. In fact, if you're quite industrious, you can basically go and put together a team You can actually hire a manager to manage your team in Upwork, and then you have your own little agency running. You could focus on the sales, and then they do the work. Now, I made it sound very simple. And from a business standpoint, it is simple. It would be hard to get clients, but not impossible. If you threw together a small agency, you probably could get clients maybe right away, depending on what your network was like. I have no interest in doing such a thing. I, you know, I don't like working with clients and blah, blah, blah. And, kind of goes back to the point I was making with the AI tools. If I thought the content was so great, why wouldn't I just put it on my own website? So if I actually hired writers, I'd put all the content on my own website. So anyway, if you do want to learn about that, learn about hiring people, outsourcing, it's a great approach. And it goes from not just hiring the writers, but also hiring someone to help manage them. Peak mentions that the prices at Odys look reasonable considering the domains have backlinks. You were once offered a domain by a broker for $50K, no backlinks, just the domain. It's ridiculous. Yeah, it's an interesting world. Like there's still like, domains that, people buy the domains and then they wait for someone to like offer the money. And I mean, it would just have to be the perfect, like brandability. So I told you it snowed here, and it was very, it was a very dry fall. We didn't get a good snow until December, I think. And I got a little used to it. It was a little warm and we weren't getting snow. So yeah, I totally got used to it. And we didn't get a huge amount of snow, but it was snowing pretty heavily when I woke up this morning. And I think there were probably like 3 inches down. And we have a stoop in the backyard. So when I let Georgie out, I like swept it off so she wouldn't like track too much snow back inside. So I swept it off. By the time we were going back in, it was already like covered a little bit. So it was coming down, pretty hard, a little breezy. And I was thinking, Georgie probably won't want to go out and walk, but she was actually pretty excited. She actually wanted to go on a walk today. It was snowing really hard, and I actually don't mind walking in the snow. We have all the gear, and I wore snow goggles or skiing goggles because it was so windy, and I have realized that it's better if you just you put the goggles on and just deal with it. And yeah, I was all bundled up, and she had a blast. I just walked her maybe for 10 minutes out into a field, let her run around and chomp on some snow, and then I came back and shoveled snow for a little while. So when I came downstairs to do this live stream, the sun was out. The snow had stopped. It snowed for a few hours this morning. The snow stopped, and the awesome thing in many places, but especially here in the Colorado area, probably Utah is the same, and New Mexico, in places where they get snow. If you shovel your sidewalks and driveway and everything, as soon as the sun comes out a little bit, all the extra snow melts where you shoveled. You never get every little bit up, but the snow melts really quickly and then it dries off. So there's going to be, I don't know if we got like 4+ inches or so, but the driveway and sidewalk will be clear and it'll be dry by the time I go out, which is remarkable. The downside is there are people that didn't have the opportunity to shovel. I was about to make fun of them for not shoveling their sidewalk, but maybe they went to work and they were unable to do it. And even if they shoveled it early in the morning, it snowed the rest of the morning, so there would still be snow down. But the downside is you may be walking along, it's a totally dry sidewalk like mine, and then maybe down the street someone didn't shovel and there's like 6 inches of snow, and it's like perfect sidewalk, and then 6 inches of snow that you have to like trudge through. But it's part of the fun. And after I finish this, probably gonna go walk around, may bring the camera with me. I've been trying to take more pictures. I got people like camera gear, so The one I'm using up there is a Canon RP. Canon RP. So it's their new mirrorless full frame. It's a couple years old. So I really like that, and it actually does 4K, which I can't remember if I'm doing 4K on this one or not, but it does do 4K, and it works great. In the wonderful image quality, it's from the lens. The cameras it doesn't really matter too much. It's all about the lens. My old camera that I used to use for live streams, which looked just as good as this, is a T7i. If it'll refocus to that, T7i. Boom. And I needed to focus to the other spot. T7i. Boom. And I have my 50 millimeter lens on this one. But I used to take so many pictures, even back in the film days, but I haven't been, taking the camera out quite as much. But I went out this past weekend, had some beers with friends, and I was like, you know what, I'll bring the camera. And it wasn't like, me just snapping pictures the whole time, but I was trying to get, some higher quality pictures. And our phones do a great job, but there is something about the high quality lenses that you can't replicate the way the background is blurred in our phones. I know they have some algorithms that do an interesting job, but there's no, like, for someone who knows what they're looking at, there's no comparison. So and I got a handful of other lenses. It's a fun thing to get into, and I have been thinking, I want to take more. It's like anything. If you want to get better at it, you just need to do it more often and practice a little bit more. So as we're coming towards the end, if anyone else has questions, please do ask, and I will, shout out to Odys again and Ezoic, who sponsor these live streams. Hoping to bring on another sponsor again soon, which no ink is dry, but I think we'll be able to work together again soon. So the other little story, one sec here. I got to remember to pre-record some of the spots so I could take a break in the middle here. Let me drink some water. So there was a thought on my mind that I can't remember. As soon as it arrived, it left. Well, I can plug my podcast as well. I talk about similar topics, and I would love it if you would have a listen. It's called The Doug Show. There is a link in the description there, as well as my other podcast. So, I know what I was going to tell you all about. So I didn't put a link in the description for this, but I have mentioned a few times that the traffic over at Niche Site Project has dwindled just a little bit. And actually, it's dropped a lot. So the traffic has dropped a lot because I've been spending a lot more time on YouTube and podcast and a lot less time on writing content. And Google likes it if you keep your content up to date. So I went back to an article, and honestly, this has been on my list for at least 2 years, and I would kind of do a little bit of an update, but not quite enough. Anyway, I went back to a page where I have Amazon affiliate website examples. It was about 2 years out of date. That was the last time it was updated. The page has been around probably for 2 to 3 years before that as well. So it has been around, and it was a highly ranked page, and it would bring in a decent amount of traffic. And then I didn't update it for years. I went back and updated it in December, mid-December, and more traffic landed on the site because I was talking about it on live streams like this, and I would send it out to the email list as well. So that brought in a pretty significant amount of traffic. Additionally, since I updated it, traffic is up by about 30 to 35% from mid-December until the current day compared to the previous period. So that's, the November, December timeframe. It's a little tough looking at that time of the year. Traffic's a little funny around the retail season, especially for like an online business marketing website like Niche Site Project. But overall, traffic is up by a very huge amount on that page. However, when I look at some of the other pages that I haven't updated that used to get more traffic has actually dropped a little bit there. So it shows me that I need to go and update the other content that was doing pretty well. And there's, 2 or 3 posts that historically would bring in a good amount of traffic. It's a perfect fit for the kind of audience that I want to read the blog. So I really do need to get on that. There were a couple other things taking up some time in the last couple days, so I haven't been able to get to it. But honestly, when I went back and updated that content, it was kind of fun. Like it wasn't too hard. It probably took me, I did a few hours of work over 2 days, but it was one of those things, you might imagine. I have several different areas that I work in with, the courses that I have, or setting up interviews for one of the 2 podcasts, or working on a YouTube video or something, plus all the leisure time that I have. So you can imagine I'm maybe jumping from thing to thing. And when I looked at, hey, you need to update some content, I know, number one, I work best if I can sit and work on that and solely focus on it and not jump around to other things. So I'm like, I need, 4 hours to work on this. Maybe I only work on it for 3. Maybe it takes an hour to like warm up. Maybe I'm sort of flailing around and not directed at exactly what I need to work on. But overall, once I got into it, it was fun. I updated the content. 3 weeks went by and I'm like, is this even working? Are more people going to the page or not? And then, slowly over the course, it's only been like 5.5, 6 weeks. So like slowly it's been doing better. And my general hunch, I'm not 100% sure, but I have a feeling if I go back to the other content that is highly related and I update that as well, and like everything is getting updated. And by the way, I'm not using any of these sophisticated tools like Market Muse or Surfer or what's another one, ClearScope. I didn't use any of those tools. I just updated the content, and the thing is, like, we're deep in this SEO stuff, right? And you could tell by some of the questions we get tonight. Like, should we remove all of our affiliate links and put them on another page and no index? We make some weird decisions. We're like, all right, how can we like figure this out? And when I was writing the content again, I'm just thinking, what helps the person that would Google the term that makes them land on this page? Like, what do they actually care about? And if you think about that, you can I'll let you know in a couple months. But if you're thinking about that and you're ignoring the rules and constraints that are sort of artificially put on us, and we're thinking, well, for best practices, we need to do this and this and this. If you just throw that out the window and think about the user at the end of the day, maybe that's an approach that can work. There are some best practices, sure. But if you're making weird decisions and you're doing like, we're talking about this affiliate link test, I'll be blown away. You know what? Let's play that out too, and then we'll wrap it here. So let's say the test works. All right? Let's say without a doubt the test works. You move all your affiliate links on a secondary page. send people over, no index any page that has an affiliate link, and Google ranks everybody higher. What would you do if you were Google? You would then look at the no index pages. You would then look at the no index pages and see if there's affiliate links, and then you would count those. And maybe Google wouldn't index them, but they wouldn't not crawl them if it gave them some sort of intelligent advantage to rank websites in a better way. So it's the same cat and mouse game that we play with Google over and over again. All right, thanks y'all for hopping in today. And I do see Mirror691. You say Doug is live. Nice. Well, thanks everybody for hopping on, and for the people that watch the replay, thanks for checking it out. Also, leave a comment if you watch the replay. That helps people know too. So we'll wrap for today.